Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, as usual, for choosing our show and for your continued support. Now, regarding Gachagua, the former deputy president and Ruto's fiercest nemesis, has decided to take the political battle right to Ruto's doorstep in their supremacy battle. And regarding Gachagua is proving that what Ruto can do, he can do better. The person who advised William Ruto to engineer the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua is not Ruto's friend. In fact, that person, if he is one of those many advisors that Ruto is giving hefty packages every month, Ruto should sack him because he never meant well for William Ruto. This person who told William Ruto that you sack Rigathi Gachagua or you impeach Rigathi Gachagua and replace him with Raila, then you think it will be business as usual, that person was wrong. Because Rigathi Gachagua is proving to be a very hard nut to crack. Now recently, in the upcoming Magarini by-election, the broad-based government somehow went and talked to the DCP candidate. And the DCP candidate, by the name Furaha Chengo, withdrew from the race and subsequently resigned from the party. This was meant to humiliate Rigathi Gachagua and to make sure that he's dealt a blow. But Rigathi Gachagua refused to be intimidated. And now what Rigathi Gachagua has done has, taken William Ruto and Raila Odinga to the drawing board. That seat remained vacant because the aspirant who finished second went to court. And the court found some irregularities. Then the incumbent then went to a higher court. And after scrutiny, the higher court also agreed with the lower court that that election was never done in accordance with the law. Now, the person who went to court had run under a UDA ticket, and his name is Stanley Karisa Kenga. So after the broad-based government convinced Rigathi's DCP candidate to withdraw and resign from the party, Rigathi took the war to Ruto and Raila's doorstep. And he made a brutal comeback because now the person who was supposed to run under the UDA ticket is the one that has been given the DCP ticket. And Rigathi Gachagua has shown William Ruto that I'm not a walkover. Now Rigathi explained how he has been part and parcel of this work all the way when this candidate went to the courts. And Rigathi is now telling the voters of Magarini that William Ruto is the epitome of betrayal in the city. And he's saying that just as he suffered betrayal from William Ruto, their candidate also suffered. Kindly take a look because you realize that Rigathi has really studied Ruto's politics and is now doing better. As we do this, please subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell, like and share videos.
It's the philosophy of our party. In Magarini constituency coast region, we have a resilient candidate, Honorable Stanley Karisa Kenga, who has met the brutality of one William Ruto under the oppressor's party, whose betrayal can be told through Stanley Karisa Kenga and myself. Kenga was rigged out in the 2022 general elections and purportedly lost by 21 votes only. Stanley Kenga, who I'll unveil today, I was with him, and his story is one of resilience. When he was rigged out and purported to have lost by 21 votes, he sought for justice, and I encouraged him. I was in UDA then. And he went to the High Court, and the High Court nullified the election and ordered a repeat. The men who rigged him out went to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal upheld the decision of the High Court that Kenga was rigged out and there should be a by-election. The competitor went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court again upheld the decision of both the High Court and the Court of Appeal and nullified the election and ordered a by-election. Kenga then was told by William Ruto to start campaigning. He has been campaigning for the last 1 year. When these by-elections were called, I looked for him. And I told him, William Ruto will betray you. Kenga did not believe it. He said, how can he? He encouraged me to file a petition and was with me throughout and has asked me to campaign. I don't believe you. I think, Rigiji, you are being malicious. I told him, you don't know William Ruto. The guy will throw you under the bus. And sure as December 25 is Christmas. When the time came, William Ruto called Kenga, the guy who actually won the election in 2022, and the front runner in the by-election, and the man who will be the MP for Magarini, and told him that he had considered Magarini to Raila Odinga under the broad-based arrangement, and he should step down, and he should not contest. Kenga cried before William Ruto and asked him, how can you abandon me? We have been with you through the journey. I stood with UDA. It was not popular in Magarini. I won. I was rigged out. You encouraged me to fight for justice all the way to the Supreme Court. It is me who occasioned this by-election. How can you ask me to step out? An election that I have occasioned through an election petition. And I'm the one who won this seat. Ruto told him, I don't care. All that matters to me today is to keep Raila close to me, because without Raila, I cannot govern. So you must allow me to allow Raila run an ODM candidate in Magarini. So this young man came looking for me. He told me, Rigiji, you told me. I told him, I told you. Pole. I was also in the same shoes earlier on. People had told me this man would betray anybody. And I told him, Usijali, we have a new home. A great home, the DCP. I want to ask the people of Magarini to reject betrayal, to reject the humiliation of their son by one William Ruto. They must do the right thing. They must also humiliate William Ruto by electing Stanley Kenga to be the MP for Magarini. I think this politics of betrayal and deception must come to an end. The politics of betrayal, conmanship, deception must come to an end. And since 2027 is far away, we have a good opportunity in Magarini for the people of Magarini to say no to the politics of conmanship, betrayal, and deception. So, today, I want to unveil our candidate for DCP in Magarini constituency, Kilifi County, Coast Region, who will win the seat with a landslide majority. One Stanley Karisa Kenga.
Now, one thing that is worth noting here is Stanley Karisa, who is now the DCP candidate, lost to the ODM candidate by just 21 votes. That was so close. And now Rigathi Gachagua has picked him. And you know one thing that is very funny? This person has also ditched the UDA, just like William Ruto and his team somehow managed to convince the DCP candidate to ditch the party. So it is a tit for tat. Rigathi Gachagua is not intimidated and is taking this to Ruto's doorstep. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why I'm saying that William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga are even worried about Rigathi Gachagua. Because the way Rigathi Gachagua is, the manifestation of his politics is one that has defeated Raila and William Ruto. So now, let us pick a few things from what has happened. You know, William Ruto, in a bid to embrace their so-called unity, decided to support the ODM candidate in a bid to show Raila that, you know, we are together. But Rigathi says no. And if you listen to the messaging, you'll realize that Rigathi Gachagua was making a justification of how Ruto has championed himself in betraying other leaders. And so this message is really sinking to the residents because it says, nilisalitiwa, na hata huyu mbunge wenyu sasa alisalitiwa. So that message must be sinking well, considering that this man only lost by 21 votes. It is going to be a very fierce battle between the two candidates. Rigathi Gachagua has proved to be smarter than William Ruto. When William Ruto thought that is the only person who could convince Rigathi's candidate to resign, Rigathi is now saying, you take my candidate, I take your candidate. The difference between the two is, Rigathi's current candidate now, who was in the UDA, came close. He's a popular person. He only lost by 21 votes. So Ruto is realizing that, after all, he is not the most brutal and cunning politician. He's realizing that there are other candidates who can give him a run for his money. And this is why Rigathi Gachagua has endeared himself to the people, because finally they found someone, they have found someone who can, you know, confront Ruto, act smarter than William Ruto, and in fact William Ruto is currently confused. Rigathi Gachagua is giving a very direct message to William Ruto that come 2027, I will be even more brutal than now. Why? During party nominations to identify who to give candidates, there is always, a lot of betrayal. So what will Rigathi do? Rigathi will sit and wait, especially in maybe ODM zones and UDA zones, or what we call those neutral zones. And if any candidate will be betrayed, that is the candidate that Rigathi will pick. In that way, Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga might just see fire come 2027. Because what Rigathi has done is to show them that I might be a newcomer in this game, but I'm sharper, I'm brighter than you can imagine. And I think right now, the broad-based government team is really worried, and they must be burning some midnight oil just to see how they can deal with Rigathi Gachagua. And I'm not saying this just because it is done by Rigathi. We would say the same because Rigathi seems to be smarter. They wanted to humiliate Rigathi. Can you imagine your candidate dropping from the race and resigning? They wanted to make Rigathi's party look weak, but look what Rigathi has done. The country is rallying behind him, and the party is emerging even stronger. I don't know what to think, but by this act, Rigathi has taken the war to Ruto's doorstep, and it is a good move to Rigathi because we really need a strong opposition. I'm one person who does not support buying of the opposition so that the government can do whatever they want. They want to, sell state corporations. They want to bring things like Adani in some shoddy deal. They want to brutally kill people and no one is talking. I really love it when Rigathi stands firm and questions the government. That is the way to go because we need a stronger opposition.